Hi there. Big, strong cup of coffee and a crown today. It's what I'm feeling like I need. I intentionally slept in this morning because I stayed up way too late working with a young man on a funnel. Awesome funnel. I'm really excited to see how it works out for him. We were walking through the steps of that, and Pajama Grandma, actually, he was watching it's just a video about how to do something, and I've seen it so many times. I actually dozed off during the little video, and my daughter's like, Mom, are you okay? And I was sitting in my chair, but my little head had dozed off. So that's when I knew that I had had a very long day. And I think I went another 2 hours after that. So that's okay. That's okay. We have days like that. But I knew this morning when my Alexa woke me up, I let Alexa wake me up. I actually let Alexa wake me up a half an hour before my alarm clock is even set to go off. And I'm usually awake before her. And I was awake like at 2 o'clock for some reason this morning. But so when my alarm went off at 4:30, or Alexa said, she starts making her chime. I can't remember what it sounds like now. But I just asked her to please turn off the alarm, and I asked her to wake me up at 5 instead of at 4:30 today. I'm normally a really good morning person, but I didn't get to bed till probably, almost 1. And when I don't get to bed till almost 1, some days I need more than 4 hours of sleep. I used to be able to always go on 4 hours of sleep. I don't know how I did it. I look back sometimes on my past and I'm like, how the heck did I do that? How the heck did I actually do all the things that I did? When you're busy and you're running through your life. But I remember feeling like I was always running through my life too. I didn't really enjoy most of the experiences I was having in that time period. And it's sad when I think back now, because it's the time that my kids were little and all the things I should have been experiencing with them. And I was too busy working and being in corporate America and, working too hard for other people, still having businesses on the side and 2 little kids. And it was, I don't know why I'm thinking about that now, but I think back and I'm like, always running, not taking care of myself. And that's probably all of that behavior culminated in my major health challenge when I was 50 and made a massive turn in the way I look at life, the way I spend time, the things I choose to do and not do, the people I choose to spend time with and not really bother with anymore. It changed everything. And I guess some of us are just stubborn enough and pig-headed enough, and we just don't see what's right in front of us. Almost all of us have heard, well, on your deathbed, you're not going to wish you had worked more. I heard that my whole life. But I also saw the example of my dad, who worked all the time, worked. And I'm a lot like my dad. I don't know if I'm sure my family realizes it, but my dad passed away a couple years ago, and the more I look at my life, the more I see how like him I am. And that's in an awesome way, because I think he's a wonderful man. And I miss him a lot. I miss him a lot every day. But I also know that he was a human being too, and some things about him weren't particularly awesome. And I think I have some of those same characteristics. I mean, great guy, heart of absolute gold, helped so many people over his life. Unbelievable how many people he positively impacted in his life. But he also did it in a small way. And not a small way. I mean, he had a huge impact on a lot of people's lives, but I think that he was capable of having so much more impact on so many more people, but that he didn't know that. And I feel like I'm at that point right now too, where I've been playing so small and so little and so scared. And I like to think I'm fearless, but then I look at my results in certain areas of my life and I'm like, no, I'm as scared as the next person in terms of where I will really stretch my comfort zone and really go there versus where I just do a little bit. I just put myself out there a little bit, and if I don't get my head chopped off, then I'll do a little bit more. But it's a really, really slow process taking that philosophy. And so I know that I need to just jump in. You know, sometimes we had a pool when we were growing up. My dad, there were 4 girls in my family. So my dad reasoned, since he traveled a lot, it made sense to put a pool in so that my mom would know where we girls were all the time, and everybody would be at our house instead of my mom having to worry about where all 4 of us were at any given time. And it was actually a brilliant strategy, because that's exactly what happened. From the time we were little girls to, through college and graduating from college, everybody coagulated, or everybody congregated, not coagulated. Blood coagulates, people congregate. Everybody congregated at our house, and it was fun. I have great parents. They were awesome and fun, and everybody loved them, so it was fun to hang out at our house. But there were some mornings, I used to swim every morning. Excuse me. I used to swim every morning, and there were some mornings in Wisconsin, and it was a heated pool, but the heater wasn't always working 100%, when the water was cold. And if I would dip my toe in, it just made it all the harder to get in. But if I just got on the diving board and dove in and started swimming my laps, it actually became kind of fun to know if the water was going to be cold or not, or if it was going to be a nice warm splash when I dove in. So it kind of became my morning challenge to decide, I would just dive in, and then I would instantly feel, is it hot or is it cold? And it was never super cold, but, colder than other days. And it wouldn't take but, 1 lap before I was warmed up anyway. So the water didn't even feel cold then. But it was always the anticipation of what was going to happen, or the fear of what was going to happen if I dipped my toe in and it was cold, and then I knew it was going to be cold when I dove in, versus if I just dove in, took the leap of faith, and did what it was I was going to do, and started moving toward what I wanted. So I used to swim like 50 laps every morning. So the faster I just dove into it, took action, and started swimming, the faster I got it done, and the better I felt. So I know I need to do more of that with what I'm doing with my online businesses. I need to just dive in, and I have in certain areas. I'm not really. I'm lying to myself if I say that. I haven't dove in at all. I've been just dipping my toe in, and if something works, I move toward it. If something doesn't work, then I stop doing it. So today, I'm going to challenge myself to dive into something with my online endeavors that I've been putting off, or just tipping my toe in the water. I'm not sure exactly what that's going to be, but it's probably going to be something with respect to branding and my brand, because I have not developed a brand at all. And I've been kind of exploring that and playing with that idea the last couple of days, because it's not about really intentionally branding. It's about, to me, it's about me being me. And that's kind of my brand. My brand is Pajama Grandma, me being me. And how do I show up in the world? How am I showing up in the world? And frankly, in a lot of ways, in my career and in my businesses, I showed up in a big way. But for some reason online, I've been reluctant to do that. And I'm not sure why. Maybe because the same reasons other people do. We're afraid of other people judging us. I don't care anymore. I know that's, some people are like, what do you mean? How come you don't care? Because I really don't care. Because there's so many people out in the world, and we all get to be different. Some people we like, some people we don't. We've all met people. We've all been somewhere, and you meet somebody that you just click with. You're like, oh my God, I feel like I've known this person forever. And then you'll be somewhere and you meet somebody that just rubs you the wrong way. I mean, totally. They don't even do anything or say anything. You can't even pinpoint what it is about them. But there's something about them that just irritates the living crap out of you. We've all had that. We've all had that. And I guarantee that I've done that to other people. I know there's people that like me right away and are like, oh my God, you're hilarious. And there's other people that are like, what the heck? You're the weirdest person on the planet. And no matter what I do or what I say, I will rub them the wrong way. And it's always because of something in me. So the people that rub me the wrong way, I know that there's something that they're showing me that I'm not seeing, because it's something I need to see, usually about myself, that I don't necessarily want to admit or see. Let me think of an example. When my kids are frustrated or upset about something, and when we get frustrated, how we kind of work in a circle. When one of my kids is frustrated, I don't like to see it. And that's because I spent so many years of my life really, really frustrated and really stressed and annoyed and overwhelmed. So when I see my kids or people around me that I love and care about being frustrated or overwhelmed, I want to always try to help them not be frustrated or overwhelmed. Well, now we know that whenever we try to help somebody get out of a certain way of feeling, we usually mess it up worse than if we were just to love them and let them work through that feeling. It's kind of like if you're upset about something and somebody tells you, oh, don't be upset. You shouldn't be upset about that. How does that work? It just gets you way more upset, or at least it gets me way more upset. So if somebody tells me, don't be frustrated, you shouldn't feel that way, guess what? That sends my frustration through the roof, and however I'm feeling, it intensifies it tenfold. So whenever I see the kids being frustrated or upset, I do whatever I can to ask them questions to help. But I make sure I don't say, oh, don't be upset. What are you upset about? You shouldn't feel that way, because I know how ineffective that is on me. Nobody ever felt better by somebody telling them they shouldn't feel a certain way. I do credit that with half my divorce. It was because I was always told I shouldn't feel a certain way whenever I would say, this is how I feel about something. And we've just got to work through our own feelings, and it's hard to do sometimes, especially the more intense, the more negative, at least for me, the more negative the feeling, the harder it is for me to work through, but the more I need to actually work through it and get it worked through and let it go through me and be done. So if I'm angry about something or upset about something, and I've always been this way. When I was a little girl, my family had a joke that they still think is funny, which was mostly my father, thank you, I love you, Dad, but he thought of this. And he would say, pop the cork. Because when I was upset about something, I would usually let everybody know I was upset about it. I'm talking as a little girl. And so when I was a little girl, for some reason, when they wanted me to stop being upset about something, my dad started saying, pop the cork. And that became the thing. Everybody would say whenever I was worked up about something, and let's be honest, I still get worked up and ranting about stuff sometimes. They would say, pop the cork. I think I'm going to adopt that for my Facebook page. I just thought of that. Pop the cork. Even though I used to not like it, now it makes me laugh. I'm writing it down so I don't forget. Pop the cork. So they would say that to me, and all it did was, it usually made me feel worse, but it did become a pattern interrupt where pretty soon we'd all be laughing, because whatever it was I was ranting about, even as a little girl, would be something that they're like, okay, yeah, we've heard about this for 10 minutes now. That's enough. Pop the cork. The other game we played, my dad and Mom had us play, was Monkey Up the Flagpole. I'm going to write that down too, because that's another one. When we want to tell somebody to just knock it off or stop talking or be quiet, we would play Monkey Up the Flagpole. Funny, I forgot. I'm thinking games today. So I always know about myself that I need to work through negative or fearful or, doubt, worry, fear to me are all really fearful feelings. So if I get an inkling of something that I'm afraid of, I know I need to work through it right away. And I need to work through it in my own way. And it's different some days than it is others. And each of us work through our emotions different ways. But if we don't work through them, if we don't let them out in whatever way works for us, we end up stuffing them down, and they show up in our life at some other times, usually some of the most inopportune, worst times possible. Those feelings that we didn't work through will pop out and show up in our lives. So when we're starting new things, a fearful situation that we had years ago might pop up and show up in our lives. And we're like, what the heck? Why is that coming up? Why am I thinking about that? And it's just to show us that it's time to let it go. Usually, at least for me, it's just to show me it's time to let it go. Sorry, throat's going crazy again. So what am I working on today? Today I'm working on my daily content. I'm working on my scavenger hunt, the details and cleaning up my scavenger hunt for my Supersize Your Business page. And I think I've got all the main videos done and uploaded for that. They're not exactly in the right order. I think I've done the first couple units. I have to check today. I was going to do it yesterday, and I got on coaching calls, and I did not get to it. My stuff goes to the back burner when it comes to working with people, because it's a lot more fun for me to work with people than it is to just work on my own projects and things. That's really a fun realization, because It didn't used to be that way. It used to be that my businesses, because I would say my projects were my businesses, came first, and they were my number one priority. And as much as I like to believe and think that my family and my kids were always my number one priority because I love them so much and they are what drives me, if I look back on my behavior in the past, it hasn't always been putting them first. If I was working on a project or working at work, I would say no to a lot of things with my family, and I missed out on a lot of things because I prioritized my work more highly than my family. Only because in my mind, I told myself I had to. I told myself I had to work all the time. I had to be driving all the time because that is how I showed them love. Does that ever happen to you? Do you prioritize something over people because you think it's how and what you have to do to show them love? Because ultimately, everything that I do is driven by love. Me loving other people and, of course, me wanting them to love me. Because we can lie all we want and act gruff, but bottom line is we all want to be loved. We do everything. If I break down my 5 whys, if I ask myself why I do anything, and it's kind of hard for me to admit out loud, I don't even know why. It's not that scary, right, to admit that we want to be loved, because I really believe that everything everybody does, if they ask themselves the question, why enough? Why am I doing that? Why did I think that? Why do I feel that way? It all boils down to wanting to be loved. And that's part of where I think my be loving, love being, be you came from. That's like one of the greatest gifts I think that came out of my sudden cardiac arrest, was knowing that my core, at my very core, is love and wanting to be loved. And I think that a lot more of us human beings have that in common. I honestly believe that all human beings have that in common. We just dress it up in very, very different ways. So I'm working on that today. I want to work on my scavenger hunt today. I want to selfishly work on my scavenger hunt today and get that done, because I think that's a bigger, better way for me to serve people. Now, am I kind of afraid of that? Do I want to take precautions around that and play small and not do it? Yes, I do. I really do. I'm admitting it to myself. Yes, I'm scared to put that out there, but I'm going to, because I think it's important. And I know that I can help a lot of people with it. I can help them with their businesses, and then that means I can help them with their lives. Because most of us that start our own business because we want more life, better life, more control of our lives, more freedom, more time to actually spend with the people we love and care about. But how many of us, be honest now, actually, when we started our business or got involved in our business or are doing something new, actually ended up spending way less time with those we love and care about? Raise your hand if that's you. And if you're not raising your hand, I must say you're probably lying, or you set stuff up and started out in a way that was way smarter than me. And then would you please PM me below so you can tell me what you did, because I totally need to learn from that. So I'll work on that. I am also redoing a bunch of short videos, and Marian Asana, who I'm in a 365-day challenge with, we're doing a Facebook Live every day in that group. He taught us a strategy of doing short videos, not just long videos. So like this one where I'm talking forever. And I am really working on creating some of those short videos. I'm going to tell you right now, it's hard for me. It's hard to make short videos. It's hard to keep things simple. Maybe you can relate to that. I have got a very chaotic, very complicated brain, and I don't think I'm alone. I think there's a huge percentage of the population of human beings that our brains are just wired that way. And it makes it more challenging, but really, really powerful when we can distill things down in a simple way that everybody can understand. And more so that we can understand and remember. So that's my challenge today too, is to distill down and keep things simple. And I'm doing that with this scavenger hunt. I'm distilling down a lot of cool things that I can help people with. The process that I can help people really to supersize, my crown's crooked, supersize their business and create the business and the life they really want, not the one that they think they deserve or they think they have, or all that they can do, or all those other false beliefs and crap that we tell ourselves. Or the way we've always done it, so it's the way we always have to do it. That is one of my biggest pet peeves on the planet. Well, that's just the way we've always done it around here, Missy. Okay. Missy, sweetie, there you go. Corporate America. And you know, it depends on the source. It depends on who is saying something like that to you. Like, there would be people in my career that called me honey, and it would be perfectly fine. And there are people that it's the same tone of voice thing. I have a sister who could make the word mother sound like the F word when she was mad at my mom. It's amazing. And that's when I learned that it's tone of voice and how you say something is so important. And it's so much more important than actually what you say. And I also learned that with animals. It's amazing that you can say anything to an animal and it's 100% dependent on your tone of voice. Well, mainly because they really don't understand English. So they go based on your tone and the vibrations and the energy that you're putting out toward them. And it's the same thing with people. We just don't realize it as much. But that's what got me to understand how powerful the tone of voice is and the way we say things and how that, I learned that in my relationships too, like my marriage. The way you say things is way more important than what you actually say. Because people subconsciously hear the message you're sending with your tone of voice and your body language, and that's what they respond to on an emotional level, even more than what you're actually saying. All right, that's enough rambling today. I have things I want to do. Since I started my day a half an hour late, it looks like it's going to storm here, and I'm actually okay with that because when it storms, I don't mind doing the things around the house I want to get done. I don't mind working on the computer and doing things that I like to do for my online world because I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. When it's nice and sunny and gorgeous out, especially in the summer here where I live, because in Wisconsin, the summer is so short. And if I have to work indoors, I feel like I'm missing out on things. But the cool thing about life now, I can take my computer and I can take my cell phone anywhere I want to go. And that means I have to get dressed, so I have to get out of my pajamas. But sometimes that's awesome and fun too. So go out, make it a fabulous day. Keep working on you because really our lives and our businesses and whatever it is that we're wanting to do and creating, it all really comes from us. And the real secret, I'm going to tell you the real secret right here, right now, about supersizing your business or creating anything in life is all about you. All about you, what you want, and who you're willing to become to create and move toward what it is, what that vision is, what it is that you want, how you want to leave your mark and your legacy on the world. So again, it's all about you. And not all about you in a selfish way, but also all about you in a selfish way because we're all here to experience life only as we uniquely can and to create what we can. And that's how we make the world a better place, is by being ourselves and experiencing life as only we can. And for some of us, that's creating billion-dollar businesses. For others, it's being the best mom in the whole wide world or the best grandma in the whole wide world. For others, it's leading a committee or a church group or a nonprofit cause or organization or building a better widget. It's different for all of us, but whatever way that makes us feel good and happy and content and motivated inside, that's what we're supposed to be doing, and that's how we're making the world a better place. So go out, make the world a better place today, and I'll see you tomorrow with a less rambly update on what she's up to now. Bye. Pajama Grandma out.